As I was sitting in the waiting room, a nice lady came out, called my name, and we got to talking. And she was asking me about, or trying to ask me about my name and address. And so I was just having some fun on that, and I told her some other things, like how to protect your documents if you're in a flood, and then how to play better tennis by not holding the racket so tight, and demonstrated some things. And she says, well, thank you. I didn't mean to get so much information. And I said, well, before I answer your questions, and she was going to go through my allergies and if I'm taking any meds and things like that, I said, well, I do have one more question for you. It's about your faith. Why should God let you into heaven? And she said, well, I don't really know. And I said, well, have you ever heard this prayer? And I went through the prayer of salvation. And so then she says, no, I've never really heard that. I said, well, would you like me to lead you in that prayer? And she said, well, yes, if you want to. And I said, okay, well, repeat after me. And we went through the prayer. And then she told me something very interesting. And here's what she said afterwards.
Oh, I woke up this morning just asking if God could just point me in the right direction of what I needed to do, so I'm not wasting any more time.
That's good, not to waste it. And then what happened?
And then here you come along in the morning at my work shift. Here, look, I'm grateful. Look.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then I'll go ahead and I might use this and distribute. And your name again is?
It's Jalen Vance.
Jalen.
Mm-hmm.
And are you related to the VP candidate?
I am not. I've seen his name around. I said, oh, look at that.
Well, he's got the same initials.
I know.
What's your middle name?
Juanita.
Okay, so you're J.W. Vance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll have to make a note of that so I don't get you confused when J.D. Vance calls me.
Yes. Well, I'm J.J. Vance.
Okay.
JJV. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sweet.
All right, and you're here for your 3-month follow-up.
So I got her picture, which is included, and we talked a little bit about other things, and she said, it's just really nice. I didn't expect this morning. And, of course, that's how God works. He directs every step, every appointment, every turn, every little thing. I believe God is available to direct it, and all we have to do is yield and surrender that. And then he gives us the faith to walk in these troubled times because he's absolutely in control. Eternity is long. Don't be wrong. I'm leaving the doctor's appointment, and on the way out, I had to have my blood taken. So you do a checkout, and then you got to go do your lab work, and they're going to run a PSA test on me. I was walking out of the building, and the guy behind me I didn't notice him, and as the door was closed, and he had to grab it. I said, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. And he said, no problem, we're all moving in the same direction. And as we were walking out, I says, how you doing? He says, I'm disappointed. I says, well, how come? He said, well, they canceled my appointment. And I've been waiting for a year to see the doctor, and they didn't give me no notice, nothing. I said, well, when's your appointment? He said, November. And I said, where do you live? He said, Rocky Mount. Well, that's about 20 minutes south of here is all, maybe a little longer. But he was clearly upset, but I mean, he wasn't throwing a fit or anything, but I could just tell he was irritated. I said, well, maybe we were supposed to meet. Maybe that's why you're here. I says, I'm a pastor. I said, you have anything I can pray for? He says, yes. You can pray that they treat their seniors better in this hospital. So again, he was focused on that. I says, maybe there's another reason that we met. I said, I'd like to ask people a question. I said, there's one question that tells me exactly what people's faith is based on. Why should God let you into heaven? And he looked at me and he said, because he's a just God. It's just the way he said it. I thought of a bunch of questions, but I haven't had that answer before. So I just said, tell me if you've ever heard this prayer. And well, this time I went through the prayer of salvation, and I expanded on it and talked a lot about that why Jesus had to die, because nobody can deserve your salvation, and I elaborated on all that. And when I finished, I said, "So have you heard that prayer?" I said, "I guess you've probably heard that prayer." And he says, "Well, not exactly like that one." And I says, "But you've prayed a prayer like that?" And he said, "Every day." And I said, "What's your name?" He said, "James Williams." And I said, "Well, James, I'm going to pray for you and commission you as an ambassador." And we just bowed our heads, and I said, "Father, I pray for James Williams, commission him as your ambassador, that he might go forth and expand your kingdom. And thank you for his profession of faith, and that you would give him the words to say, that you'd put people on his path, that your kingdom might expand because of his ministry as your ambassador. And I commission him with all the rights, responsibilities, and privileges